Wednesday. It's Wonderful Wednesday, and if I had any sense at all, I'd be at the doctor's office this morning, but everybody who knows me knows I have no sense at all, and I just keep flying by the seat of my pants. And you see this right here? Somebody twisted my arm and told me to come back to work. So I'm at work, and I don't know what I'm going to do about this arm. I have messed up where they did the skin graft and the scar tissue, and I did a little something stupid. I'll just say that. And if you can't fix stupid with duct tape, you're in trouble. And I don't have any duct tape for my arm, but I got to figure it out because I gave birth to a 10-pound baby on June the 11th, 1974. That pain was nothing compared to this pain. So I've had 2 Advil this morning and some peanut butter crackers to calm my stomach. So we don't know where today's show is going to go, but I will tell you, thank the good Lord that Josh is back with us today because Josh can carry the show.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And I can just sit here and whine and moan.
I don't know about that. I do hope you get that looked at. I hope it'll get better.
It's got to be looked at, fixed. It's got to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, it ain't broke, but it's messed up. And I'm mad at myself. I did something really, really stupid, really something simple. But it popped they did when I had cancer, they took, a graft off me and put it on my arm. And I reckon me and the graft have had a problem because I popped something. And Lord have mercy. I'm so glad you're here because you can make me laugh, you can make everybody else laugh, and I will forget my pain.
Well, they say, the Bible says laughter doeth like a medicine.
That was my mama's favorite saying. And if you don't know who Josh is, well, we're going to tell you today because he wrote a book. And this should be written as an anthem to me. Some things are meant to keep. I've kept everything I've ever had, and we talked about that a little last week. And I started to bring some pictures and show you. I don't get rid of anything. Well, I do take out the trash, but I don't get rid of anything else. And I said I got tickled. I saw something on Facebook one day, and it said, "Oh, you better grab your ex because trash is the wind is blowing hard and trash is blowing down the street." Uh-oh, that's a pretty good one. But this book is going to bring a little lightness to your heart, a little happiness to your soul. And on top of that, today, he felt sorry for me, so I got my wish today. He's going to play the piano. And let's talk a little bit about playing the piano. You just play it because you do mathematician genius to play the piano.
Far from a genius, I'll say that. I started with it. My mother plays, and beautifully so. She's a gospel piano player and trained in that style. And I was in college. This would have been 20 years ago. And we had to write a paper on the golden ratio for Pythagorean theorem. And
everybody's sitting home scratching their head going, what did he say?
Well, it's Pythagoras from the Greek, days of old in the Greek, or as Andy Griffith would say, way back yonder in old country, came out and he started measuring everything, and he found out that it's God's number, that everything appears on the golden ratio. He would measure the height and width of trees. He would measure the height and width, and anything that was aesthetically pleasing occurred on the golden ratio, including music. And Pythagorean music is organized. All our music today is organized on that. And so strings on a piano or on a guitar like that are the hypotenuse leg of a right triangle. And if you shorten them certain distances and lengths, if you cut a string in half, you get an octave, and it's the same tone, only an octave higher. And so you organize it that way. And so the strings in a piano are just like guy wires on a telephone pole, and so every other one or every other so many ones will be in harmony with each other.
That's Greek to me.
Well,
and I watched him. It is.
Greek.
So there's my joke for the day. I watched him over here, and I was just mesmerized because you did Elton John, you did Floyd Kramer, you did Peace in the Valley, you did a couple other things, and you just, and you literally said it is math. This is math. The piano is math.
In your head, yeah.
Now that tells us that people who have God-given talent have to be pretty smart, because my roommate, Glenda Buckner Pearson, who I hope is watching today, she could play anything on the piano, anything. And I would just watch her, and it was like I would just name a song and she could play it. And I'm like, how do you do that? How do you put that in your head? How does your head hold that much stuff?
It doesn't. It just becomes repetitious at that point, and it just flows. It's like a connection goes directly to, just like you get up and walk. When I'm playing it, I'm singing it in my head, and I can play it. But now it speaks to this, and I'll say it this way. God is not the author of confusion, so He organized the entire universe. On an architectural scale. There is a form and function of how things work, and I have a great time teaching the kids at school about that. And one of the things that, if you want to explore just how limited we are, so here's how it works. From birth to 5th grade, actually I'll bump that on up to 8th grade, we are teaching you all of human knowledge from caveman days to the 1900s. From high school forward, we bring you on up from the early 1900s to present day, and college gets you right there to where the edge is, where we're learning. If you want to see something, and try this at home if you're ever looking, and I noticed this when my little girl Lindley, she's now 8, but years ago, I was getting a cup of ice out of the refrigerator, and a piece of ice fell down, hit the floor and went sliding. She was in her walker, and she wheeled over and picked it up, and she held it up to me. And I said, "That's ice, Bug." And she goes, "Ice." And I said, "Ice." And she goes, "Cold." And I said, "It's very cold." And she goes, "And slippery." And I said, "Yeah, ice is." And so in her head, you could see her learning. Ice is, little man with the filing cabinet typing it out, Daddy says ice is cold, wet, and slippery, and that's suffice. Little kids will ask you why of something. And so, and then you will always say later, "Because I said so." And that shuts it down. Well, kids are operating on genius level. They're learning everything around the world in them. But start asking the why of something. And you can't go more than 4 to 5 times in the why of something. You ask, "Why is ice slippery?" Well, that requires a high school education. Because when ice gets cold, the molecules slow down. They line up like eggs in a crate. When it's liquid, they're moving. When they're gas, when you heat it on the stove, they're bumping together like that and create steam. They condense back down, they get back together. We have to teach that. Then you ask, why is ice slippery? Well, they lined up in a crate. What makes it? Well, when you press down on it, the why of that, actually you find out that a little bit of that water gets excited and those molecules start rolling over each other. And when you get into that further, you're realizing that the reason ice is slippery is because of magnetism, that 2 magnets repel, that those 2 molecules are repelling each other. And you ask why that, and that takes a degree in nuclear physics that I don't have.
Yeah.
But we get into that.
Yeah.
And so you ask why 4 times, it goes in all different directions, and we just don't know. It's a miracle everything works the way it works.
It is amazing. It is amazing. Yeah.
And so, God organized all of that, and we just get to ride along.
Well, it's funny that you talked about this, because the other day I was talking to somebody who is into math and physics and science and all this, and I said, I hated science, I hated technology, I hated any of that stuff. But then as a cook, I learned that all of that works together.
You're a chemist.
Because to make banana pudding, you've got to put a whole bunch of things together that do different things with each other. And I said, "Dadgummit, there goes that science in this." So even though I did not like science, I did not get it, I had a teacher, I'll just say this out loud, she's probably dead and gone to be with Jesus. I didn't like her. She wasn't a good teacher because she didn't bring you into it, she just stated it.
Yeah,
do you understand?
Because I said so.
Yes.
If you get somebody in there that can motivate and inspire students, you can get a lot of. You inspire them to love a subject, and they'll go after it. Just like runners get a kick out of running, I get a kick out of thinking, and that's the thing. Kids, we've got to teach them how to think, not what to think. That's a difference. How to think. How to think. Think about something. And I tell my kids, I don't care what you believe. You can believe the sky is green for all I care, but back it up with proof. And what I know is if you can get proof to back up your claim, we're pretty well going to get on the same track. And that's the thing. There's so many people that just, the internet says, oh, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Check it out for yourself.
Yeah,
But that's,
now, at 8 years old, is your child inquisitive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I call her Josh Arena. She's about a 60-40 blend of both of us. But, like Jethreen, we call her Josh Arena. Or, but she's really smart. I know I'm biased, but very, very blessed by God.
Is she going to be musical?
She's shown a little interest in it.
Yeah.
That
is so cool because I was telling Josh, if I could pick 2 things in the world that I absolutely cannot do, I don't even have the potential to try to learn it because my mind has a block, because I think only genius people can sit down and play a piano with no lessons and you just hear it. And Barry Scott used to tell me this. He said, well, don't you just hear that? I said, no, I don't. My brain doesn't work that way. So God gives certain people certain talents, obviously. He taught me how to make banana pudding, and I make really good banana pudding. But I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, and I am so intimidated by that piano, and I love when people come who can play it. Well, Josh can play it, and today you're going to get to hear it.
Well, on my end, I would burn water, so I'll eat your banana pudding, and I'll play the piano for you.
That's
How
good.
about that? That'll be our trade-off.
That's good. Now, did you get some feedback when you were on the show the other day?
Yes, a lot of people loved it. A lot of people watched.
Well,
a lot of people at home.
It was so much fun, and it was so cool to go back to those days because McKaysville, Copper Hill, Ducktown. I was thinking about the 4th of July that we used to go up to Ducktown, and the Barker brothers would be up there playing on the porch at Glen Springs Holdings, and there were just so many things going on. Ducktown, Copper Hill, and McKaysville, all 3 took a huge hit. And you write about that a little bit in your book. And again, the book is called Some Things Are Meant to Keep. And I think keeping our memories has a lot to do with that. This is full of memories.
For me, yes.
Were there hard times with your family because of the economy that failed in this area?
The copper mines closed in the late 80s, early 90s. My father, he had already saw the writing on the wall, and he never even applied for the company, we'll say that, but that opportunity would have been there otherwise. He had to drive 52 miles each way to Chatsworth to put food on the table because there was just nothing in those days. My mother worked at the nursing home there in Ducktown, and good, honest, hard-working folks, but it was people forget how hard things were back there in the early 90s. It might as well have been the Great Depression of McKaysville, and when that flood in 91 came through. Oh my gosh. It devastated everything. We're talking whole businesses that were built from when the copper company was running just closed. Pre-copper company closing, pre-flood, there were 3 car dealerships in Copper Hill, 2 clothing stores, a hardware store.
The New York Cafe that had been open 60 years.
Yep.
60 years.
60 years.
Yeah.
And WLSB radio, the A&P, a Radio Shack. There was a Radio Shack right there on the corner, right across from United Community Bank and across from the post office. It wasn't United Community at that time. It was People's Bank.
Yeah, I remember that.
Long time ago. Everything changed. Yeah. Everything changed. And we can buy a T-shirt now, but you can't buy a collared shirt in Copper Hill anymore.
One of the things that was really tough was these were good people who were used to putting their own food on the table.
Yes.
They had to ask for help, and there wasn't much help available.
There wasn't.
No.
And FEMA wasn't that big at that time. We got one story on the Chattanooga News about the flood, and that was it.
That is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
That was just the way things were.
And this flood happened during the day, thank God. If it had happened at night.
Well, we had warning of it. It was a controlled flood. TVA, the dam at Blue Ridge was getting too full, and they had to turn that much water loose. That was what I was always told. If somebody knows otherwise, correct me. I'll eat my words on that one. But that was a controlled flood. They knew it was coming. That's just all they could do, and it was.
We had banks, stores, restaurants. Everything took a hit.
Yeah.
Nobody said selectively, well, we're going to hit this end. It was gone.
And as bad as it was, and I'm going to say this, I'm not against the TVA, don't get me wrong on that. TVA put a lot of food on the table in a lot of places. TVA's done a wonderful thing. If TVA hadn't have controlled that flooding like it was, that whole dam could have broken and wiped out everything downriver. It would have been 10 times, 100 times worse.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Whitestone flood?
Yeah.
Yeah, that killed a lot of people, a lot of people. And it was one of those flash, what do they call those?
Flash floods.
Flash thunderstorm that just, it was unbelievable. They couldn't handle it.
Right.
And it killed people. And wasn't it on a Sunday night and people were coming home from church?
As I remember.
And like 9 people
Whole
died.
Roads, bridges, everything washed out.
Yes. So controlling the flood made it easier to manage, but also hard to handle.
It'd been a real rainy season. And then,
Yeah. And now, we've whined and moaned and complained because, we got too much rain, we got too much. This year we were in a drought, and now we are finally up to what we need to be. Yeah. But we still need rain to put in reserve because we're going to use more water than we've ever used before, and so we have to be prepared and we have to be ready. When we think about Copper Basin, when the businesses started coming back, I can think about the Christmas shop on the corner, the Mexican restaurant. People started coming, but the dry goods stores didn't come back.
Nope.
There were so many places that didn't come back.
Right.
And then we have to think about the little grocery store, the IGA.
Yeah.
It's been there for how long?
It's hanging on. Let's see, the A&P changed over. I don't have the specific date. It had been in the early 90s, right after that flood. Yeah, it turned
Well,
into
I love that you can
groceries.
walk into a grocery store in the United States of America and you can hear gospel music playing on the radio.
Yeah.
And I said, what a good feeling that is.
And the owner knows who you are.
Yes,
and
yes.
knows
And he
your
might
family.
even sing you a song.
He might.
He might. It's so interesting now. The train takes people to McCaysville, takes people to Copper Hill, but if they don't tell the story, then they don't really understand the people of the area.
Right.
Because the people of that area are very unique, very different. They are very clannish. They take care of each other. And I love that.
Well, you know what's a miracle to me? Let's go all the way back to the 1840s when those mines started. No bulldozers.
Think about that.
No steam shovels. They dug those mines with pickaxes, shovels, and elbow grease.
That is crazy.
And they did that because they needed something to eat. And I mean, when you talk resilience, I mean, and you talk, there was a lot of people, and a lot of people died putting them mines in. And when they walked off and left it in the late 80s, early 90s, I was told, and they've said it, I think even Miners Memories, that this
that we did,
said there was about 200 years of ore left in the basin.
When Billy Wayne came in and they talked about doing that, it was like, to people, it was like a foreign language because they're like, why did they leave all of that? Why did they walk away? Why did they do that? Is there hope that they might come back and open again?
And y'all can check this out. President Trump signed a executive order declaring copper a national security metal. It's one of those, it's a precious metal and rare earth, and there's other stuff that's in the ground out there too. And at the time when copper got so too expensive to mine, I want to say it was $2 and some odd cents a pound, and we crossed that threshold in 2006. It's up nearly $8 a pound now.
Wow.
So that's for
And it's
people
just
with
sitting
higher
there.
pay than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there could very well be. I don't think they could go back down underground anymore. They'd have to probably strip mine, and that would ruin the whole ecology of the place. So they'd have to be smart about it. Maybe robotics, something like that.
There you go. We've got robots who can do things that we never dreamed of 20 years ago.
Right. So I don't know. Again, that's more of that's above my pay grade. But there is a lot of resources still in the ground out there.
Have you been to the museum?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to the Miners Museum. Everybody should go and see that, because when you think about the history of the Copper Basin, there were two ways to make a living, and it was either grow it or go under the mine. And a lot of people had gardens. You know, they provided for themselves. They were self-sufficient in that way. but then they had to have a paycheck. And when we talk about the company, how many people, were there company stores where people could shop?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the company store, and that was, people ordered stuff out of there, and then a little bit of it come out of their check. But you also got to realize, and I talk about World War II on there, that Tennessee Copper Company was just as important as Oak Ridge, because that SO2 acid was sent off to make ordnance in Chattanooga that helped win the war.
Wow.
We made bombs out of that acid that dug out of the ground.
Call the president and tell him we've got something that'll make bombs that will get all this war stopped. Let's stop the war and let's just blow it all up and get it over with.
Well, I tell you what, I'm investing in a swimming pool company for the rebuilding of Iran. The holes are already dug, so put swimming pools out there.
It is time that we bring that war to an end, and it should have been done. This peace deal and the talking to them isn't working. So let's stop talking and let's start doing.
Well,
let's get her done. Ever heard that saying, get her done?
It's been going on for 40 years when the Shah left town.
Yeah.
And it's been put off far too long.
Yeah, it needs to be done. Now, we're in a world where you are seeing, your daughter is going to be facing a very different world than you did. She's going to be involved in AI. Yeah. Does that scare you?
To a point, yes. But I go back to what I said. If I teach my daughter how to think and think independently, then we'll be okay. As with anything, ethically, it's like nuclear power. Ethically, we could light up everywhere and do it safely and efficiently. Unethically, that's why we're in that war with Iran right now, because you have people that want to kill other people.
Right.
And so that's a problem. And so can AI be used ethically and morally for the greater good of mankind? Of course it can. Can evil people use it? Of course they can. You know, but that goes back to just like guns. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
That's right.
And you know, a gun's just a piece of metal until you could beat somebody over the head with a gun and kill them just as dead than if you shot it. It's ethics. It's a soul problem. It's a heart problem. It's a head problem.
Yeah. And we haven't taught people that there is a heart and soul of America.
Oh, yeah.
There is a heart and soul of America. And it's just like, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I don't even care today. I'm in so much pain. My arm is killing me. The election in Maine said it all. The guy who got 72% of the vote on the Democrat side has every problem known to man. From the swastika of supporting Nazis. He has a tattoo that says what he thinks. He has shown how he treats women. Everybody's come out to tell his horrible stuff. He got 72%, I think, so last time I watched it, about 115 this morning, of the vote. That scares me to death. Thank God I don't live in Maine.
Well, all I can say is, like I said, we have a heart and a soul problem. And you know, politics aside, what's in your heart, what's in your soul? If there's anger and rage and whatever, what's leading to that? And I go back to, let's go, you know, church, and I get preachy. How about laying it down and talking to the man that designed everything? But there's hurt and pain and anger, and then that leads to a fracturing. And the heart and soul, my problem is, my fear is, the heart and soul of America has been fractured. There's Republicans that's crazy. You need not only to look towards North Carolina at the State House. I tell people in Cherokee County, they'll say and Raleigh Republicans are a different level.
Oh yeah.
A different level.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm a Tennessee Republican, so we know how to run a state. And you know, that's just it. I'm not a Republican, I'm a conservative.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we have a heart and a soul problem. And it comes right down to, is the government your God, or is God your God?
There you go. There you go. And that is something, when we look back, when I went to school, we started the day with prayer in school. Does your child get to pray in school now?
She has a moment of silence. She can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done that for years. There's been no problem there. We're allowed, and it's observed, and we do the Pledge of Allegiance every morning faithfully. We even have students lead the announcements. The seniors do that. When I was at Ranger, I was very pleased to get the 8th graders. They would put the flag up every morning. They would take it down in the evening and fold it properly, you know, teach them respect. that always came out well.
Oh, yeah.
It helped the kids, it really did.
And that is one of the things, oh gosh, you run into, how do we blame it on the parents? Well, we probably need to lay some of the blame on the parents, because the parents should teach them correctly at home and not put it all on the teachers.
Right.
The teachers shouldn't have to correct what is not taught at home.
It's a standard thing. I do an example in the book. I'll show you this. I don't know if the camera can see it. This was my granddaddy's Hamilton 992B railroad pocket watch.
Yeah.
Now, in 1891, and I'll tell this story, I'll get around to it. In 1891, there was a major railroad accident that happened because the standard of time was not universal. And a conductor's watch had stopped in his pocket for 4 minutes. And 2 trains collided and 9 people were killed. So the United States government, now this is when we actually solved problems and didn't just talk about them, commissioned a study by Mr. Ball, and he made Ball Watch Company. And he created a standard for timekeeping, and the Congress passed a law, and so railroad men had to have a standard on a watch that was inspected twice a week.
Wow.
Now you talk about American greatness.
Yeah.
This was before the years of computers. This was 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, 130 years ago. They created, without computers mind you, a watch that kept accurate time to 30 seconds a week. Now, to put that in standard for you, Rolex can match it. They can't beat it.
Wow.
We set the standard of the world, and it still holds. This watch keeps as good a time as a Rolex. Now, what does that mean by standards? Well, you know, this watch does not get to argue about the standard and say its standard is better or its standard is different. And that doesn't matter if we're talking about a pulpit in a church, or if we're talking about teaching 2 + 2 is 4 at school, or if we're talking about time. The standard is the standard, and we as a society have to meet that standard. And what we have seen,
we've lowered it.
We've lowered it, or we've decided we're not going to try for it. And that is what has been, think about it, you know, years ago, gentlemen came to town, they wore a necktie.
Right.
Look how many,
right.
how many people do you see wearing a necktie every day?
I have had this speech over and over and over with younger kids, and this came from my home ec teacher, Miss Maisel Kemp. She said, if you go somewhere to show up for a job interview, if you show up for work, if you show up as an employee or as someone seeking employment, look the part.
Look the part.
Look the part.
Yep.
Do not walk in there with a disheveled t-shirt that doesn't match your pants, and your socks don't match, and your shoes are dirty. Don't do that.
And you've not had a bath for 3 days.
No. And I was sitting next to somebody the other day, and I was laughing at him because we were in a meeting, and his shoes were polished to a T. And I told him, I said, that's how I taught my children to choose an attorney. Choose an attorney by looking at his shoes. And that's a standard, you know. You want to look the part, but you also want to be the part.
Yeah,
you know, you want to reach a higher standard, even set a higher standard for yourself.
I always, and my daddy taught me that too, I always shine my shoes before I have a meeting.
Yeah.
At school. I mean, if you're going to take the time to present yourself,
yeah,
you know, and be put together, and that's, you know, keep your car clean.
You know. Oh, he just hit me.
Wash it and keep it, you know.
I try.
Keep your car, I mean, I call it clean dirt. It's been raining, you can't keep it clean, but you know, keep your car looking nice. It don't have to be brand new, just wash it.
Yeah, mine's 9 years old, and when it's clean, it looks pretty good.
Clean,
today, it looks pretty dirty.
Keep your clothes clean, wash and, you know, clean your fingernails, show up, say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir.
Right.
You'll get a long way in life on that.
Yeah, and it's so simple. And where is the standard? And I'm not going to tell how it happened, but I was talking to a group of people, and I realized that none of them had dressed appropriately, in my opinion. And I thought, gosh, somebody needs to give them a lesson. And so, I don't know if you remember this, but years and years ago in McKaysville, I did this thing called show and tell. And I had pocketbooks, jewelry, shoes, dresses, clothes, all different sizes. And I had gotten my friends to help me gather all this stuff. And then we would have meetings at World Harvest Church. And we would say, you know, share your story of your life. So many people had gone through addiction. So many people had lost a loved one. So many people had buried a child. Everybody was facing something. And so I told them, I said, if you'll tell your story, then you can go up here and pick anything you want out of all this stuff. And they were so tickled. And one lady chose an outfit that I bought for myself. And it was white linen. Fat girls don't wear white linen. So it hung in my closet about 3 years with this big price tag on it. And I'm going, idiot, why did you buy that outfit? She wore it to her son's graduation and said he was the first in her family to graduate high school. She was so proud of that outfit. And I said it was so nice to be able to share and tell your story, because everybody has a story, and maybe you can't afford a new outfit, but you can go to the thrift store, and I guarantee you, if you choose the thrift stores we serve, if you go in there and say, look, I'm down on my luck, I've had some problems, I need a nice outfit for a job interview, they'll help you.
Pair of khaki pants and a button-up shirt looks just as good.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't have to be in a big Armani suit. Just, you know, pair of khaki pants and a button-up shirt.
And be clean.
And be clean.
Check your hair. Do better than I did with mine this morning because I couldn't brush it. But it's crazy how we have an opportunity to reach every goal we set in America. Wherever you started, you can reach every single goal, but you have to work at it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be given to you. You've got to work at it.
Again, we went to the moon out of the one-room schoolhouse in this country.
Yeah.
In 100 years, from 1926 to now, we've now gone to the moon multiple times. Mm-hmm. We've invented cell phones, internet. We've got now electric, you know, the standard I told you about on that watch that was built without computers. Timex now can match it. They can't beat it, but it's so cheap now. Mm-hmm. You know, this watch cost a month's pay back in 1926.
Oh, yeah.
Now you go spend $25 and get you a Timex. Mm-hmm. Okay, look at what we've done as a country, but yet we've decided it's a mental thing. Close enough. Mm-hmm. Good enough. Mm-mm. No, it's not.
No.
If we're going to preserve this and hand it over to the next generations, then everybody's got to lay in here and pull, and everybody's got to hold standards.
You know what, the one class I think is missing, and it's Ms. Maisel Kemp, being your 9th grade teacher, and I think they should call it Preparing for Life. Learn to write a check, learn to pay a bill, learn to be on time, learn to dress as you should, learn to address your elders.
So your biggest issue comes to money, and it's not at the local level, it's at the state level. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, public education's taken a great beating, and I understand why. In certain states, with certain curricula, that's not right. Mm-hmm. But here in America, we educate everybody, regardless of race, color, creed, sex, national origin.
Right.
Okay? That's wonderful, because you ain't getting that in China.
That's right.
And you're not going to get that in Russia. Mm-hmm. Even in this day and age, you're not going to get that. Here in America, we educate all. Mm-hmm. Now, I say this, at some point in time, these bureaucrats, they look at how much money is being spent on public education to pay a salary for me, to pay a salary for a building full of people with degrees that studied it and tries to hold that standard. And the idea was, I was always taught, teachers were kind of like priesthood. To be held up on a level and held there, just like a preacher at church, because we should be the example for children. There's come a point in time where, number one, they've decided it's too expensive, we don't want to pay for it, and so they start cutting, and like Jenga blocks, they're pulling it out. And so classes like you're talking about
failed.
Get cut.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to, you're going to have doctors, lawyers, school teachers, and I don't care if it's somebody driving a log truck or somebody digging a ditch. All of them were taught by teachers. All of society is built on public education and teachers. You had to be taught how to tie your shoes in the first grade and kindergarten to your math and up through high school. Everything comes through that, and we've just decided, or politicians I shall say have decided, that they just don't want to foot the bill. And that's the cost of doing business in America.
Wow.
If you want to build this country the way it's been built, artificial intelligence come out of a school classroom at some point in time, the people that come up with it. Everything you have now came from this, and now they're trying to, it's just a little bit at a time, it just keeps getting eroded and eroded and eroded. And that's universally, they don't want to do it.
And there is a kid sitting in a classroom somewhere today who could cure cancer.
Oh yeah.
There is a kid sitting somewhere in a classroom who could cure cancer.
Yeah. Or invent anti-gravity or do whatever. I mean, do the next big thing. And there's, you know, education, and it's tax money, and I get that. But it's being spent on people who's going to spend money in the community anyway, so it's a closed loop system. And they need to quit treating education like a business.
But listen,
we don't
cannot
manufacture a product, we invest in people that will one day manufacture
We can't
products.
pay our teachers because we're too busy embezzling, scamming, and sending money to foreign countries.
Amen.
Like $69 billion left the state of Minnesota. What do you think the teachers feel about that in Minnesota?
I think
It's
they're
crazy.
upset.
It is
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm upset I didn't move to Minnesota and open up one of them daycares.
I tell you, it is so crazy when we look at what has been found to be stolen.
Yeah.
Only what has been found to be stolen.
Fraudulent.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. And you look at that number and you're like, how many dollars is $1 billion? It's a bunch.
It's a bunch.
It's a bunch. And I'm like, we have allowed this to happen in America because nobody was watching the key to the door that locks the vault.
Yep.
Nobody was watching. And it was like the $2 billion that Joe Biden, right before he left, sent Stacey Abrams. I will always say, and I'll get slammed for this, I'm sure, and I don't care, that it went to buy the Georgia election. I feel like, in my mind, why the timing was perfect, that money was sent to her for a reason. It wasn't to put stoves or refrigerators in people's homes in South Georgia, because that never happened. There's so many things that were so obvious. They were obviously theft by deception.
Again, it's just sad.
It's
because
sad.
Taxes are a part of life. And again, I don't care to pay road use taxes on an automobile when I'm registering it or when I'm putting fuel in it, because they're building me a new bridge down there in Ducktown, and I need that. Okay, that's the cost of doing business in this country. But when my taxes get sent to something,
Somalia,
Yeah.
how many billions of dollars? And they are finding people who had, I mean, unbelievable, like a Porsche, a Maserati, a this, or that. All these, like, $17 billion went to a foreign country that, and then they look at the community that was built in the state.
Yeah.
All these Somalians were brought in. Who brought them in? Barack Obama brought them in.
again,
And here we go, and they got our money. They got here, and they got Americans smart before America got smart.
again, it's terrible what's been done, and I've always said
That would
politicians.
pay a lot of teachers.
That would.
Boy.
Politicians need changed as often as diapers, and for the same reason.
There we go. There we go. We're in trouble, aren't we, today? Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, this young man, I told him, I said, Josh, my arm is killing me. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. And he said, well, I'll bring you some peace in the valley, and you're going to get to hear that when we come back.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
If If you or your business are looking for local advertising opportunities, we have sponsorships available for new programming coming soon on ETC3. Contact us at 706-697-5591.
See us anytime you can.
ETC is connected to our community. We provide communication services that connect friends and family. We're connecting with our neighbors through support of local causes and events, connecting our students and schools to a world of learning resources, and connecting you to the latest technology with local customer service. Learn more about our community connections and fast, reliable internet. Visit etcnow.com today.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Hey, baby, come over here. I feel good. I got my best jeans on. I feel fine. I'll call my baby on the phone. We're going down to Jamie's and watch them shoot a game of 9. Jackie Dunn will be there in his ragtop 59. My grill is clean. There's an 8-track in the dash of my machine, and I know every single line. Yeah, Susie's got her dress on, hanging high above her knees. And when she smiles for the Nikon, you know it's such a sight to see. Raise it on up a little bit. It's Friday night in the southern city lights. Wheels will turn and the rubber's gonna burn. The glass packs are racking, the power plays screaming loud. We'll cruise the red dot parking lot and see who all is in the crowd. 'Cause I feel good, I got my best jeans on, it's all fine. I'll call my baby on the phone. We're going down to Jamie's and watch him shoot a game of 9. Jackie Dunn will be there, and you better not step out of line.
You're back, and guess what? Thank you very much for that song. I needed some peace in my valley. We're going to laugh about this. My arm really got just tore slap up when Josh said, "Can I twist your arm, let me come back on?" Not really. I invited him to come back, and I'm going to invite him back to come back one more time before he goes back to school, because when you go back to school, we're going to lose you because you have a real job. Let's talk about something that's very close to my heart, and I think very close to your heart, Brady Singleton and Grady Anderson.
Yes.
Grady Anderson was an educator all of his life.
At my school.
That
at
was
Hiawassee Dam.
so
I'm teaching right there where he is.
Important to him. So
Yes.
important to him. And when he lost his life after many, many years of suffering from the wreck that took poor little Brady, I got to thinking about this, and I talked to Ron and Shirley about it. When Ron and Shirley and I are gone, how many people are going to remember Brady Singleton and Grady Anderson? So it was my goal to get the state of North Carolina to listen to me, which they haven't. So you have more pull than I do.
I don't have any pull.
I want you to talk to everybody. I've talked to the senators, congressmen, whoever. I've called everybody. I've annoyed the crap out of them. We need a sign up just at the road near their home where Brady was killed. Mm-hmm. We just need a sign up. How hard is it, people? Get out there and get me a sign. And they said, would it be okay if we put an adopt a half mile for a litter pickup? I said, no, that's not what I want. I want a sign that honors Grady Anderson, who is an educator for over 48 years, and Brady Singleton, who died because of drunk driving. Mm-hmm. How is that to understand?
Again, I don't know why things work the way they are. Sometimes you feel like you're on Green Acres talking to Mr. Kimball at the county extension office. You can do this, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's
not hard. It's not hard. Do it.
You could crowdsource the funding to buy a metal sign.
Yeah, I told them I'd pay for the sign. Just put me up a daggum sign.
Put it up and have it there. I will say this, to North Carolina's credit, they do have right there on the state line when it comes in, Cherokee County students say buckle up and don't drink and drive. And so that's always been something that I'm very fond of and proud of. I'm glad we've got that. But it could be a little bit bolder letters, and it could be a little,
Well, this is what really got me. I worked really hard to get a sign up for David Collins when he was killed in the war. I worked hard, but our senator worked with me. We got it done in a year. This time they came back to me and said, I was telling them Grady's story, and they said, yeah, we knew him, but usually they do signs if somebody's really important. And I said, how much more important is an educator?
Well,
and I said, and he was the chairman of the Tri-State Board. I mean, come on, people.
Pillar of the community for years.
Yes.
This man never took a sick day.
No, and left with, I think, 2 extra years.
Yeah, and he wouldn't take he wouldn't take the payout. He sent it back to him.
Yes.
The reason I know this is that, I'm biased. He's family. He's my wife's family. But it was a tragedy that happened, and that happened, 20 years ago?
20 years ago.
I remember where I was when it happened. I was with Katrina. We were dating, and when that happened, I was floored. A life cut short too soon.
Oh, yeah.
And sadly, the people that were the perpetrators of it, they didn't pay the exact cost it needed to be paid.
One got 12 years, one got 2, the other one short period of time. I was in the courtroom, and I thought, I understand why people lose their mind in a courtroom and why they try to take revenge, and I get that.
But I have to say this, and I love Ron Singleton and Shirley Singleton, again, their family. I don't know that I could bear what they've bared with such dignity and grace.
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
Yeah, and when we think about Father's Day is coming up, in the whole world, you could have not have chosen a better father than Ron Singleton.
That's right.
And he faces Father's Day without his child because somebody chose to drink and drive. They didn't just drink and drive. They started at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so everybody knows how I feel about alcohol. You drink, it's your business. You stay at home, you drink, it's your business. You get out on the roads and you drink, it's my business. Because something happens, and sadly, something like losing Brady Singleton.
Yeah.
If you choose to drink, please stay at home. We are facing the 4th of July. It is one of those years where there will be so many DUIs, so many. I can think of a horrific accident that happened up in Blue Ridge where teenagers were drinking and they killed some young children in a family. I think about that all the time. These teens had one of them just gotten his license and killed kids. Drinking and driving, underage drinking and driving.
Took a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, I do believe if you attempt that, the Georgia State Patrol would have a little something to say because they'll be out in full force and number. Georgia State Patrol, Tennessee State Patrol, and North Carolina State Patrol. So just don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah, and boating. Yesterday there was a drowning actually on Lake Chattooga.
Yep.
And I don't think that had anything to do with alcohol. It was just a drowning. But when we think about it, there are boating accidents. Lake Lanier always has a lot of accidents. Of course, Lake Lanier, if you chose the alcohol content on Lanier, there's a whole lot of alcohol being consumed on that lake. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and then drive anything from a four-wheeler to a boat to a go-kart, whatever. Don't get out and drink and drive.
Well, I can't stand the stuff myself. Somebody asked me one time, if I liked beer, and I said, no, you can pour it back through the horse as far as
I love it. I love it.
I just, I don't understand. I really don't.
Well, I hope that you can be a great example to the kids coming up, because all the kids, we've told a little bit of your story last time you were here. You could have been not so successful, but a teacher. And then somebody said, there's something special about this young
I had
man.
some wonderful teachers.
There's something special about this young man. There's something special in every young man and every young woman. We just have to reach in, find it, help them to bring it out.
Get the fires lit.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
keep it burning.
Yeah, that's right.
But it has to be a holy fire. It can't be Luciferian in its wattage. It has to be a holy fire. It has to come, one, from, you got to have a home, good raising at home, a good foundational faith and church attendance, and you got to turn your life over to Christ. And then we can get in the plow row and get to going and talk about a calling, because God has something for everybody to do.
He does.
And you'll be successful if you'll hunt that out.
That's right.
And that's what I tell my kids.
I think about that. When I go to the polls, if I lived in Gilmer County, I would vote for Philip Milam. Loved his daddy dearly. His daddy and I have a long, long history. I would vote for Philip Milam. I'm voting for Rick Jackson. Everybody knows that. I know Rick's story. I know what he came from. My grandmother lived in Techwood Homes. I know how rough it was. I know that was about as tough as it gets. If you can overcome that and you can become what he has become. I have a little bit of a problem with the fact that some of his family does some liberal things, and I'm like, what? But I guess you can't control your wife. You can't control your wife.
I don't know. I couldn't speak intelligently on that situation.
But anyway, I'm a conservative. But when I think about God got J.D. Vance to the White House.
Yes.
Only God could have done that.
Through the Marine Corps,
Only
too.
God could have done that. Yeah.
Through the Marine Corps
Yeah.
and the war, and then to the White. Yes.
Yeah.
There's callings placed upon everyone's life. We all have something, and nothing goes to waste in God's economy.
That's it.
He fixes it, and so, and remember this. And before I leave you, I'll tell you this: always watch who you're around and be good to them, because you never know if you're entertaining angels unaware.
That's right.
And everybody always, don't you ever have anybody take advantage of old folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look about
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
We need to look about the least of these.
Yep. And you are known by the company you keep.
That's right.
And today I'm keeping very good company.
Well, I appreciate that,
Keeping
Michelle.
very good company.
You might get odds of that out there on Pinecrest
I
Drive.
don't think so. Thank you for being here. And one more trip before you go back to school. We got a deal?
Amen. I appreciate it. I love it.
All right.
I enjoy
And
it.
don't forget, his book is available on Amazon. Some things are meant to keep, and I think Josh is a keeper. What do y'all think? I think so.
I appreciate
And next
it.
time, will you do a little bit more piano music?
We'll talk about it.
And
Yeah.
Granddad's song, what's it called?
I'm living in Canaan now.
I'm living in Canaan. What a song. What an amazing legacy. Thank you so much for being here. It's time for me to get out of here, and I'll go whine the rest of the day away till we figure out what's wrong with my arm. Bye,
I hope
y'all.
you feel better.
Thank you. Bye.